educators and stuff like that. And I always, the main reason why I'm even here today, to be honest with you, was not because I ever wanted to be an educator. That was never, ever my idea. But what I did want to do was have more of a connection to bring women to day trading, because I always felt that women, we have a much more conservative framework, and I think personally we are much better at it in the long run, right? Because men like to take more of aggressive turns, whatnot. But the problem is this fear around trading and the financial markets that a lot of women don't know. And my goal was that I just wanted to start to share what I was doing and my love for it, my passion, my stubbornness to.
Hey, Marina, you cut out again.
Okay, sorry, I just lost you. No, it's my connection. Hang on a second. Let me try something. There's something. Oh, I see what happened. My phone turned off. My internet has been terrible all morning, so I was putting it on my phone, using my phone as a hotspot, and for some reason it turned off. I don't know why. Let me try that one more time to see if I could. But you guys could hear me right now, so I'm gonna keep it going.
Yeah, you cut out again.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I put my phone back on for the hotspot. Yeah, we're having some sort of weird issues going on with the internet. I have no idea. Turn off VPN. I don't even know what a VPN is. I wouldn't really know what to turn on or off for that. Anyways, so the main reason why I began even becoming, I guess, more of a proof, like somebody that spoke out publicly, is to get more women to get into trading in the financial markets. And because I recognize something that I can make it accessible to anyone and really, really, really simplify the entire way of looking at the markets, that's when also a lot of men started to really, enjoy what I have to say. So without even realizing that I ever was going to be a financial markets educator, it all began because I wanted to get more women to jump in. And since those 10 years now, I would say, it has grown exponentially, which is just amazing to see. And it's funny, when I was sharing that I'm going to be speaking here today, some men wrote me back saying, so this is only for women listeners. And I was like, no, it's for everybody, but it's going to be mainly women talking, which is, could be a really great other perspective. So I'm grateful that you guys are here and open to hearing us women share with you, because we certainly have a lot to share. And let's begin. So today I want to talk a little bit about the breakout trade, because we all have heard about the breakout trade. We all know that the breakout trade is a really powerful trade. However, when you don't really know what you're looking for or looking at, you're going to miss out on those cool opportunities. So before we dive in, this is me. I am Marina, the Trader Chick, and that's one of my little favorite humans with me right there. And today what I want to cover with you guys is understanding what the market is saying to us, right? Like the market movements, the indicators that help us, the breakout trades themselves. And what's funny is that you don't need to buy any fancy schmancy indicators, softwares, algorithms, because if you have the proper platform, that all comes with it. Okay. So Who am I? I am Marina, the Trader Chick. I am an expat living in Antigua, Guatemala. And this is me with my family. So I am coming to you guys from Guatemala right now. And funny enough, a lot of people say to me, oh, so does the internet stuck in Guatemala? It just happens to be right now because a transformer, or yeah, I think they're called transformers, fell the other day because we had massive winds. It has nothing to do with the service here. The service here is fantastic. I've actually had issues when I was with my parents in New York City, more than I have in Guatemala. So it has nothing to do with Guatemala. I'm having issues with, oh, okay. Yeah. So it is, a lot of people think, they want to find excuses why being an expat won't work for their trading. Trust me, that's the cool thing about trading. You can do it from anywhere. I am trilingual, and the main reason why I'm bringing this up is because after years of struggling with the markets, and I have to admit, I really did struggle with the markets for a long time. It was because I wasn't looking at it properly. I was constantly following somebody else's strategy. I was constantly not understanding what the market was actually doing, just trying to drive somebody else's car while they were driving the car, if that makes any sense, until I recognized that the market actually has its own language. And I think that happened to me because I am trilingual. Interestingly enough, I was born in Odessa. I'm sure we all know what's going on right now with the Ukraine. It's absolutely horrific on all levels. So yes, I still do have family there, and for now they are safe. But I speak Russian, and it's interesting because a lot of people think Ukrainians only speak Ukrainian. And no, because I was there during the Cold War, during the Soviet Union time. We all spoke only Russian, right? Ukrainian was pushed out. So now I always say anybody over the age of 35 can speak Russian fluently. Probably after that, because they have returned back to their language, I don't speak any Ukrainian. So I moved to the US when I was really young, around 6 years old. So I speak English, that's my main language. But I learned Spanish because I've been living now in Central America for almost 20 years. We first lived in Costa Rica. I learned Spanish in my late 20s. And when you learn a language in your later years, it's a process, right? You have to show up every single day for learning, that commitment that you have to put in. You have to start with the basics. You can't just jump into, a philosophical conversation with a lot of people and think that you're going to be able to follow along, which, by the way, a lot of traders or people, quote unquote, who want to trade or do something with the markets, they jump right in without understanding, how to even say hello in this language, right? They jump in thinking that they could understand the technicalities without learning the technicalities. And that's when I recognized that the market actually has its own language and speaks to us. And it is quite simple. And that's my goal today, is to show you that. And that's how you'll be able to spot those breakout trades as well. Before I was a day trader, I was actually a fitness instructor and a travel writer. And the main reason I even bring this up is because a lot of people, especially women, they have this misconception that they need to have a financial background or an economics background or have a math, even understanding math, which isn't true at all. I mean, I was a fitness instructor. I don't know math at all. I need to use a calculator for any sort of calculations because we don't use that, right? That's not what we use in day trading. And that's what makes it even cooler, is that anybody can be a day trader. And this is me. I still run my travel site. I actually began with my travel site before I became a day trader. And the reason why day trading is such an appealing career choice for me is because of the amount me and my family travel. We travel 3 to 4 months out of the year. Yes, during COVID, we had to take a little bit of a break. But since then, it's been, we're back on track. Like next week, we're going away for 2 weeks, coming back for a week, going again for 2 more weeks, leaving again, on and off. And that's the cool thing, is that we could do this from anywhere. So what I want to focus on today is start by learning 4 basic strategies of learning from what the market is telling us, right? So interestingly enough, my 18-year-old, is just learning how to drive a car. And with that, adjustment. It's that understanding of how to drive a car. And when we first sat with my son in the car, we're like, okay, buckle up, put your gear into first, put your foot on the clutch and the brake, and then slowly start to release. And he was, are you guys able? Oh, I'm
Hey,
sorry, I don't understand what's happening. Are you able to hear
you're-
me now?
You're cutting out again.
Yeah, I don't have any idea what is going on. I'm definitely on my internet. So it's something countrywide, I think, because now I'm using my hotspot. So hopefully, okay. So basically, while I still have you guys, so what I was saying is that when we first got into the car with my son and telling him, you know, put your foot on the clutch, put your foot on the brake, get into first gear, that is a language, right? That is a language of what we do inside the car. And he was like, I don't understand what's clutch, what's gear, what are you talking about? And without understanding that, he wasn't able to just go straight away, right? So what I'm saying here is what we like to do is just start, you know, press on those accelerator buttons and go with trading without really understanding what is going on. So that's what I want to talk about today. But before we go on, like David was saying, he is recording all of these presentations, and I have a worksheet that I give you to go with the presentation. I recommend getting it right now because this way you could follow along during the presentation live. And if you have any questions, you could ask me. However, if not, you could also use this presentation sheet. Just go to makingofadaytrader.com, makingofadaytrader.com, and you can get the entire presentation sheet. Makingofadaytrader.com. Oops, I wrote the wrong thing here. Ignore that one. So it's making of a day trader. Oh, I see that it wasn't even sent out to you guys. Here we go. Makingofadaytrader.com. Go for it. Go and get the presentation completely free. You guys will get it. And this way you can follow along. Okay, so getting back to the basics of building your day trading foundation. I cannot tell you the amount of times I'm seeing people putting in windows without having that wall structure to hold it in. And the windows keep on falling and crashing, and everybody's constantly saying, but what am I doing wrong? Well, have you built your foundation? Have you built your wall? Have you built your strategy? So that's pretty simple to start with. And that's what I want to talk about today. The basics, right? You cannot learn a new language without having the basics. You cannot do anything without having the basics. And having the basics or going back to the basics is not a bad thing. It is not beneath you, because if you're like, well, I know the basics, I'm not going to learn anything, that already goes to show that you don't know the basics altogether, because then your mind would not be resisting it, right? The ego has a way of resisting all of that. So let's hop in. First and foremost, if you want to be successful as a day trader or anything in financial markets, you need the proper platform. And what is the proper platform? It is your day trading software. It is your day trading charts, right? It's the most important thing, right? Today, when I started 10 years ago, there was only a handful. Today, there are so many fantastic platforms out there. This is what mine looks like. I use today only one monitor only. I used to have 3 monitors, 10 indicators. I was in constant analysis paralysis, constantly stressed out. Today, this is all I use. I use 2 indicators, 1 monitor. I literally threw out my other monitors. And I also see a lot of people, what a lot of people happens to a lot of people is they have this misconception that you need a lot of indicators. And they're like, oh yeah, I heard this guy say to use this indicator, and this person say to use this indicator. And then they have all these indicators there. And I'm like, okay, great. Now, how does that indicator work well for you? Doesn't matter how it works well for them, because they're like, well, it works great for them. They're using it, but you're not them. So I recognized that I had like 10 indicators going on. I was constantly losing till I realized that, you know, something was wrong. So I stripped my charts and I started to put back each indicator one at a time to recognize that some of them were totally counterproductive for me. They didn't work for me. As a matter of fact, they made things so much harder for me. So that is something that I recommend for everybody to do if you're struggling with too many indicators. So I personally only use 2 indicators. I have my EMA lines and my MACDs. This is my everything. And again, go here, guys, makingofadaytrader.com, and you could get the entire presentation. All right, so let's talk about the movements, because if you don't understand the basics of the movement of the market, it can be really, really hard to be able to stay out of bad trades and get into the good ones, right? We all know that there's the upward trend. We all know that there's a downward trend. However, a lot of us overlook the sideways trend. And the sideways trend, what is that called? It's called the channeling market, the consolidating market, the chop, the exhaustion pattern, indecision area. I don't care what word you want to use for it, but this is a place where it's indecision, where there is total uncertainty. And I would say, and I would actually guarantee that 90% of the profits you guys make gets lost in the sideways trend. So the goal is to avoid it entirely. And that's what I really want to focus on. So understanding that there are all these trending markets could really, really help you understand where and when to get in, to get out, and most importantly is when to stay out. So obviously we understand the upward trend, right? We know that each pivot is higher than the other. It's going up. It's an upward trend, market moving on, up, bull market, pretty much the opposite of what's been going on the past several weeks, right? Well, we're not going to go there right now. It is what it is. But when you're in a trending market going up, what are you looking for? You're looking to buy. You're going along, right? That means you're entering at a lower price point, exiting at a higher price point. You're going along, right? You're buying. However, when you have a downward trend, which has been what's been going on a lot right now, and that means that each pivot is going further down than the other. What we are looking for are shorts, right? So what is a short? You're selling. What does that mean? It means that you are entering at a higher price point, exiting at a lower price point, and you're taking the profit in between. Day traders, we use this technique going down, going short, selling, shorting the market, the same as we do for going long, right? Because it's all about technical analysis. So this is what it looks like, shorting the market. I'm sure you guys, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that movie or have seen the movie, The Big Short. Really, 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 really recommend it. But what was the whole idea behind it is that very few people recognize when it was time to short the market, the mortgage bonds, right? Meaning that they saw the failure coming, long time before anybody else saw that. Basically, they shorted the market, and the reason why they came out so prosperous was because they said that the bond is worth right here, but it's going to go down to this amount of money, and they're going to be taking the profit. That's what a short is. Okay, it's when the market is trending down. So I personally am a scalper. What that means is I go for really smaller profits. So the beauty of there's so many fantastic reasons why scalping for me is a really fantastic strategy. But one of the main things is because I go for smaller profits. You see this box right here? That's really the amount of profit I go for, which is 1 point in the E-mini markets. But what's beautiful about it is that I could optimize and monetize when there's a correction, right? Or a retracement that gives you a mini trend. But because the overall market has been going in one direction, if it stops, I understand why, and then I'm out, and then I can get right back in moving in the same direction. Okay, so let's talk about those consolidating markets, those transitional areas, and what I like to call it as a trader's worst enemy. Excuse me. So what is a consolidating market? It's when you have a run either going up or either going down, and the market just starts to consolidate. It doesn't really have any direction. It happens, if you think of yourselves running, right, or going for a jog, you have all this energy in the beginning, and then sometimes you want to slow down, you need to tie your shoe, you want to get some water, you're indecisive if you want to continue. The market does the same thing, right? Sometimes it runs out of steam. Sometimes, it's just not sure what it wants to continue doing. Sometimes it could hit a super high point, super low point, and usually that also consolidates markets. So that's what this looks like, right? It is a consolidation. It is an area where we have absolutely no idea what is going to happen next. However, why is this the place where the majority of traders end up losing money? It's not because it's consolidating, right? It's okay to lose money on the beginning of it, but when you keep on losing money over and over again within that area, it has nothing to do with the actual area. What it does have to do is with the emotional mindset, right? day trading is 80 to 90% emotional mindset. That is the absolute reality behind it. Okay. So what happens here? We see that the market is going up and then it consolidates. It doesn't matter if it was going down and consolidates, same exact scenario. So there's two types of traders out there. The one type of trader is the trend is your friend kind of a trader. And they're looking at the scenario and they're telling themselves this BS story. Well, the market's been going up all day. It's going to continue going long. And then they put in constantly trades to go long. Meanwhile, they're getting stopped out, right? Then there's the second kind of a trader, the contrarian trader, right? So they're seeing the market moving in one direction. Now it's until they're like, you know what? The market's been going up all day. It's gotta correct. I'm going for a short. So they're constantly going in and being stopped out as well, right? Why? Because the market is flat. The market isn't going anywhere. And the last thing you'll ever want to do is try to beat the market or predict what the market is doing. It is never gonna happen, right? So the only thing you can really do is listen to what the market is telling you. When you're seeing this kind of front of our charts. One thing, know when to get into a good valid trade. Two, know when to get out of the trade. And three, most underused activity is knowing when to sit out altogether. Okay, it is so important. Knowing when to sit out is more important than probably the majority of other things you will be doing, because this is when you are end up losing so much money in the consolidating areas, because it doesn't go into a new trend, or it can transition, it can continue and go into a breakout. But that is not for us to tell. For us to tell is when that confirmation is given to us. Okay, and this is what it looks like. You could have a breakout and then another consolidation. You could have a transition and then a consolidation. That is a normal thing, but you need to understand when to stay out of these areas. Now, understanding these areas is super important. Knowing your areas. Look, if the market is respecting an area, we work for the market. The market will never work for you. And that is something that's really important. I have been humbled by the market so many times. I've been angry at the market, but the market is going to do what it's going to do. We need to work with it. And once we decide to work with it and understand what it's telling us, it's amazing how much it actually wants to work with you as well. All right. So what are these areas? They're support and resistance areas, but I personally like to call them our safety gear areas. What does that mean? So here's the thing, guys. Formula One racing. I don't know. I don't care if you guys never seen a Formula One race before, but we all know about Formula One racing, right? It's just something we know about. We might love it, we might hate it, we might be completely indifferent about it. The reality is, during racing season, 25% of the racers or the drivers will have an accident or a fatality. It's a known fact, and they accept it. That's part of their industry. So knowing that, do you really think they're going to get into their car without their helmet, without their fireproof uniform, and not buckle in? No way, it's ludicrous. Like, they wouldn't even, it's not something that they would even consider, because they need to protect themselves as much as they can, correct? Yet 95% of people who are trying to trade fail, right? 95%, right? They fail, they lose money. It could be pretty bad, obviously not damaging to you physically, although it can, mentally. Yet very few people use safety gear. This is our safety gear. The resistance and support areas, this is what protects us. This is what tells us where the market is respecting these areas, so that we do not keep on entering into these areas until the area is broken. Okay, and that's the most important thing of all. So let's talk about what is a resistance area. It is literally the ceiling of the market. It is literally the ceiling of the market. Look, the market could be going up in a beautiful trend, and all of a sudden it keeps on hitting this brick wall 3, 4, or more times. and it's not going anywhere anymore, right? That is the resistance area. So if we see that, we want to stay away from it. We want to make sure that we do not go into that area because we have it drawn in. So a lot of people are like, oh, I have a mental resistance area. It's exactly like saying, oh, I have a mental stop in, or even better, oh, I have a mental seatbelt on my kid. Okay? Because that's literally what it is. Do you really believe when you're about to crash that you're going to be able to save your kid with your arm, especially if they're in the back seat? No, it sounds ridiculous. Yet when we are in the live market, we all put these mental stops, mental resistance support areas in place. But when the market isn't going in your direction, adrenaline is pumping, we lose all sensibility, right? So you need to draw these in. And any charting platform, I don't care if it's free or the most expensive in the world, they all have some sort of a drawing tool, even if it's just as simple as a line that keeps you aware of what's going on. What is a support area? It is the resistance. I mean, it is the floor of the market. It's the opposite of the resistance area. It is where the market has been going down and now it's starting to hit it over and over and over again. This is the floor of the market. We need to respect that. We have to understand that it's the floor of the market. It is a really strong support area. It could totally change the flow of the market. So do you really want to be putting your money in, continuing pretending that you think you know what's going to happen? No. So what is a channel? Channel is where there's a resistance and a support area, right? And the excuse me, and the price action is bouncing in between those two areas, right? But it's still respecting those areas. And this is what you really need to focus on. Look, do you really want to be in a market that looks this crappy, this indecisive? No. Yet a lot of traders, or especially amateur traders, beginner traders, have this excuse me, notion that they have to be in and out of trades all the time, right? And they get into this ugliness thinking that they can outdo the market, removing their stops because the market is going in the wrong direction. No, just stay out. Look, the way I like to put us traders, the analogy I like to give us traders, I mean, look at this crap. This is terrible. Do you want to put your hard-earned money into this? Imagine a big game hunter. I do not condone hunting, but this is the most perfect way for you to understand how professional traders are. A big game hunter would not go out into the field and just start shooting at any rat or any rodent or a prairie dog. No, they're going to wait for the big game, right? That's their thing. It's the patience, it's the discipline for knowing what they're going for and not exerting energy on the crappy little bugs or little mice, right? It's the same thing for us. When we see this, this is like a little rodent running in front of us. Don't take the bait, okay? You need to stay out. Now, the real important thing is, how do we know this is happening before it turns into that area? And interestingly enough, the market really shows us when it is happening. And it screams to us, you know what? Just take a chill, sit back, wait until I give you more confirmation. And what is that? Reversal areas and divergences. And I literally call them the trader's map to shift in direction and trend. What is a reversal pattern? Reversal patterns are the double tops, triple tops, head and shoulders, double bottoms, triple bottoms. Okay, so this starts off as a double top. When I already see a double top, I already am staying out. I'm waiting for the confirmation to know what's going to be the next move, right? And then when I see a triple top, I'm already reinforced that this is not a place I want to touch. It is not 100% an indication that it's going to reverse at all, because we don't know when it's going to do that, right? So you don't want to be guessing. You want to wait until that confirmation happens. However, it is a very high probability that it can reverse, or it can go into that support and resistance area. Now, with divergence, what is divergence? I personally use the MACDs. So that's my tool for recognizing divergence. So as you can notice here, the price action is moving up. Meanwhile, my MACDs are literally going in the opposite direction. So what is that telling me? It is telling me that the market is losing its strength. It's losing steam. Do you want to be putting your money into a market that is losing its energy? Definitely not. You want to sit it out and wait until you have that massive confirmation, that massive strength. And that's how you recognize it. Now, when you double it up with a reversal pattern and divergence, that makes it even stronger of a reason to sit out, right? So it's like literally when you're driving a car and you see a red light, it's not about, oh, wait, what do I do? Should I go? You know, when you're driving a car, you have a strategy. You might not realize that you built a strategy, but you do. When you see a yield sign, you slow down. You see a stop sign, you stop. You see a red light, you stop, right? Because we know the consequence could be cop could pull us over. We can run over a pedestrian. We can be run over. So this is my red light. Okay, so it's understanding that, and it's not a difficult strategy. It's not like, oh my goodness, Marina, wow, you have so much discipline. No, but when I see a red light, I might get anxious because sometimes those red lights could be a minute and a half, but I'm still not going to go just because I'm frustrated with the traffic light, right? It's the same thing here. You have to know when you're seeing those red lights. Okay, so let's put this all together. Remember, everything I just spoke about, it's in my cheat sheet that goes along with this presentation. Go to makingofadaytrader.com. 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 All right, guys, let's talk about the breaking out of the areas. Remember what I said, if you do not have your areas drawn in, you will miss out on a lot of people don't fully grasp the difference between a breakout and a transition. So let me explain to you about a breakout. Okay, so you are sitting right, you live right here, you live south, and your best friend or your sibling calls you up and they're like, hey, I'm having an impromptu barbecue, come on over. You've been to their house a million times. You could do it with your eyes closed, right? So you hop into your car, you get on the highway, you are full of energy and you're driving full of confidence, you know where you're going. But all of a sudden, there's a huge construction site and they're telling you to get off the road and you have to take these tiny little streets, right? So whenever I am put through this kind of a detour, construction detour, I totally get stressed out because what if they stop the detour signs and I don't know where I'm going? What if, you know, Waze and Google Maps has not caught up with a detour? Oh my goodness, I don't know where I'm at. What if they never reopen the road? What am I going to do? Oh, hear me? Hello, hello. Hi, can you guys hear me? I think I lost them. Oh yeah, cool. Okay. So when I'm sitting in this detour area, I don't know where I'm at. That's that consolidation area. Okay, so okay, can you guys hear me? I don't understand what's going on. And
Yeah.
I'm on the phone.
Yeah, we can hear you. We got now.
So yeah, it's definitely a countrywide issue. Sorry, because I'm using two different internets and they're both failing. Okay, so anyhow, so then we're driving and all of a sudden the construction a construction worker now telling us, all right, guys, you are no more construction. What happens when you get back on? You have that energy, that confidence, that boom, right? That is the breakout trade. So you're driving north, all of a sudden, construction area, uncertainty, they open it up, and then boom, you are going again. And this is the breakout trade. Okay, when you're driving in one direction, massive consolidation, indecision, oh my goodness, where am I going? What's going on? And then they're like, continue. So you continue in the same direction. That is a breakout trade once it breaks through either the resistance or a support area. So this is how I do my trades for these particular things. As I mentioned earlier, I use two indicators. My MACDs is showing me where there is a massive strength because I find that the MACDs are the least lagging indicators out there. And that's the cool thing about it, right? You want to be on top of what is about to happen rather than be lagging in what's happening in front of you. So it is the least lagging indicator. So what I do is I use it right here, this dash bar, that's the 0 line. That's when there's no strength at all. But when it flies up and breaks through, I use my EMA lines for where I tell the market to fill me. It is called a limit order. I put in a limit order right here, and that's where the market fills me. This is where I enter the market. That's how I use my indicators. Okay, so now I want to talk about a bonus trade setup. I want to show you the difference between the breakout and the transition trade, or what I like to call the initial reaction trade setup. So again, I still use my areas the same with the resistance, the support areas drawn in, but then I have where it changes direction. As you can see here, I look for that confirmation where there's that strength in the MACDs, where there's that strength, because that's how it is, right? So you always want to be in as early as possible, either in the very beginning of a new trend or in the beginning of that breakout, because that's when the amount of energy is happening, correct? So for instance, think of yourself when you guys want to go jogging, you put on your jogging clothes, you put on your jogging shoes, and you get out that door. So if I was going to put money on you, that's when I would be putting the money, is right when you exited that door, because I know that's when you're going to go the furthest, rather than 2 miles down the road. And I'm not sure, wait, are they going to continue? Maybe not. I don't know their experience. I don't know what their energy levels are. It's the same thing for trends. So you want to be as early as possible, right? Right after it shows you that massive move, no divergence, massive continuation, massive movement from the 0 line. That's what it looks like. So again, remember, everything is right here in makingofadaytrader.com. So now I want to show you guys, I'm going to share with you my screen. My charts. Oops, hang on a second here. Okay. Can you guys just let me know if you could see my charts? Just throw me a yes in the chat room, please. Awesome. Okay, so here are my charts. First and foremost, the volatility that we've been having in the past, today alone, is just insane. So you can see there's a pretty big support area, right? That's been going on. I trade the day, so I don't look at past activity too much unless there was something really serious from the day before. As you can see here, we had a pretty significant support and resistance area, and then it kind of became a little bit more narrow, right? But overall, now it's coming up and now it's going back down. So you have to go with what the movement of the market is showing us, right? So this is what I look at. I personally trade the ES Mini, which is the S&P 500. And this is what it looks like. Like I mentioned earlier, I go for smaller moves. And again, guys, we are in a wartime right now. The market is really erratic, way more than it usually is. It's fluctuating a lot more. There is so much fear, so much anxiety going on because of the uncertainty, because of all that is happening, right? I am not going to be getting any political notions here. That's not what I'm talking about. What I am really focusing on is what is the market really doing, right? That's really the most important thing of all. So as you can see here, until later in the afternoon, there was really no support area here, but there was a support area around here. Now, this does look more like a trending channel, but is it really, right? We have this nice trend going down. We could definitely get in here, but then it starts to respect this area and it's just flat, right? First it's flat here, then it tried to break out a little bit. It doesn't really go anywhere. It kind of hits this area again and back and forth. So this is when I kind of sit out and wait. This gives me a little bit more of a trend area, but then again, boom, look at this erratic behavior. So you have to be able to understand it is erratic. There are things going on in the world right now that are minute by minute, right? Fears, anxieties. Personally, I think you need to just understand what is happening, especially in your market. And if you're a real newbie, this is not the time to be putting your money in, especially if you want to learn. This is definitely not the time. I really recommend being in sim and really practicing, because this is not your normal market, right? I mean, at the moment, this is what's happening and it will stabilize for sure, but who knows when, right? So you need to be very cautious of that. That's why a lot of the brokerages right now are also increasing the amount of money you're putting in, because it's fluctuating so that they can win and take more of your money, because it goes through stops. You know, there's a lot more risk right now overall. This is just my 2 cents. And I've seen this right when COVID began as well. For a good month and a half, there was all this craziness. All right, so basically, this is what I look at. This is my market. Look at UVXY. I'm not sure what that is. Is that a stock? I'm not sure what that is. So this is what I look at right now. This is my market. And as you can see here, it just broke through. This is a beautiful sign of a breakout, right? Because at this point it had 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. So this is a massive breakout and it's just flying down. So now it's going back down again. Where it's going to go, nobody knows. So we cannot predict it either. Yeah, the fear index. I don't actually ever trade the fear index, but yes, absolutely, right? Fear is a crazy thing. So on a normal day, this is exactly where I would be entering. Like I said, I tell the market where I'm going to be entering right here. I only go for 1 box. So I would have already been filled in seconds, right? That's the beauty of scalping, because all I go for is 1 box. 1 box in the E-minis market per 1 contract is worth $50. So if you have 10 contracts, that's $500 within literally not even 30 seconds, right? So this is what my charts look like on a daily basis. This is how I sit and watch the markets. Okay, so let's go back to my presentation here. So that's the beauty of watching the markets, really understanding what they're saying, having your areas drawn in. And here's the thing, guys, we have everything that we need to take action, right? Everything that we need to take action. But how do you know you're doing it right? Who's there supporting you and saying, you know what? Yes, this is right. This is how you are doing it. Yes, you are looking at the market the right way. How do you know? There's all these different strategies and ideas and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to understanding what the market is saying to you. But if you're not practicing it correctly, how do you know what it's actually saying? Right? Now imagine if we could do this together every single week, sitting together, really understanding. And I have a special offer only to the people that have arrived to the presentation today, only for you guys. Nobody else is going to see this. So if you guys are making yourself a cup of coffee or a sandwich, please stop. Just give me 3 minutes, come back, hear me out, and then you can go and enjoy your cup of coffee, because you're here for a reason. So let me break this down for you guys. I have a weekly live trade chat room where we meet weekly, where we implement everything that we are learning in the live market, taking the trades, understanding what is happening. And it's me. It is not, I don't hire moderators. I don't hire administrators. It's just me, right? So everybody in there is working directly with me, and it's live, so you get to ask all your questions, show your charts, and also the community is really strong and really fantastic. Plus, what I'm offering is unlimited one-on-one mentorship and coaching, because how do you know you're doing it right? If there is nobody there helping you, guiding you, it's not going to be possible, right? Like, so here I am offering unlimited. You can email me whenever you want, show me your charts. And this is outside of the live trade chat room. Okay. And you will have unlimited curriculum access. You will have access to the curriculum, which is a ton of videos, really short, quick videos explaining to you what's going on in the market so you can apply everything. And then you can go back to me with our mentorship and also in the live chat room. I have students from all over the world because that's the beauty of trading. You could do it from anywhere in the world. And here's what some of $100. Okay, sorry, I think I lost you guys for a second there. But everything that you're getting in this value right here is live trade chat room valued at $600, unlimited one-on-one coaching, $5,000. I mean, unlimited, and the curriculum. $4.99. You could go right here, daytradingoffer.com. You could just try getting started. You can start with initial $24.99. You can get started with $24.99. So daytradingoffer.com. Everything that I just said to you is included in here. And you get started with $24.99 as a trial first 2 weeks, and you'll see what it is, right? Unlimited everything. The thing is, guys, because of everything that I'm offering, I can only offer it for 25 people. Because of all that mentorship, my full attention, really working with you guys, I'm only able to take on 25 students. So it's daytradingoffer.com. You start with $24.99. No joke, $24.99 for the first 2 weeks trial membership. After that, it's $49.99. No surprise, $49.99. You get everything that I just said, and you could stop whenever you want. You could stop after the 2 weeks. That's it. You could use whatever you want, join the live chat rooms, work with me one-on-one in those 2 weeks, no questions asked, $24.99. And then after that, you could quit right away. So daytradingoffer.com. So when you go here, this is what you guys will see. $24.99, and then 2 weeks later, you'll be $49.99. So it's $24.99 to get started. You have absolutely $24.99. You have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Each trade that any of you will ever be putting on is probably going to be at least $200. In those 2 weeks, you will be able to get that money, return on investment, by at least 100-fold, not even the 10-fold of each trade. So you get to work with me. But again, there's only 25 spots available. Okay, so join now, because this is all that I've got available going on right now. $24.99 trial membership to try it out. $24.99. Try it out right here. Daytradingoffer.com. Daytradingoffer.com. All right, so this is where it is right here. Daytradingoffer.com. So let me show you guys right here. You go in, put in daytradingoffer.com, and it will take you to the order form. Oh, hang on a second. Daytradingoffer.com. Okay, guys, so let me know if there's any other questions at all, and you can go here to daytradingoffer.com. And thank you so much, everybody, for being here and for being live. And I hope you guys are all safe. And thank you, David and Anka, for having me join you guys. Thank you, everybody.